Alright, the manager Hikari Mugen will now take questions. First up, Yannick DeVries asks, is Leon Bailey a suitable player candidate for Ajax's style of play?
Leon Bailey is a very talented player. Very fast, good technical abilities. And with the situation with El Ghazi, there could be an opening for Leon Bailey for the right price. He could fit in very nicely with this squad.
Maren Bacher asks, do you have ambitions to train a national team?
I must admit that I have been receiving calls from multiple national teams asking about my interest. And while I would like to train a national side someday, my focus right now is on Ajax.
Carlin Graham asks, will you consider changing to a 4-3-3 system while playing against better teams?
4-3-3 is a very popular system in modern football. For that reason, if we were to play bigger teams with the same system, it would come down to which players are best. I think that we should play the best formation to win games, whether that is 4-3-3, 3-4-3, or 4-4-2. We will be fluid in our conquest.
Soham Bapat asks, what formation or tactic will you try and do that no one else has done to make your mark on the managerial scene?
I love this question. Right now, I am learning the ways of Dutch football, but I, Hikari Mugen, will combine Dutch football with the Japanese style of football to make something all on my own.
Alright, thank you. No more questions?
Arigato. Sayonara desu.
Welcome back, you lovely weirdos, to this, the Ajax Career Mode. And guys, in the last episode, I asked you which youngster from Ajax do you want to preview, and it was a blowout. You guys want to get the big bad Bazoer, and when it comes to him, I want to do a little bit more than just, looking at his stats. Of course, you look at him, he's phenomenal. He's got like mid 70s to like low 80s and pretty much everything. But I wanted to take a quicker, more in-depth look at what he does in real life. And what I have seen in the, I would say YouTube scouting is he is pretty spectacular on his day. The way that he plays, the comfort on the ball, the tricks, the roulettes, the long shots, and you're going to see probably his most defining factor in a little bit is his passing. But just look at this. Look at him absolutely shimmy a man out of his boots. And the last thing, he's got the pace, he's got the skills, and he's got a bit of finishing on him as well, the strength. He reminds me a lot of a young Pogba because of this. That is his biggest defining factor, is his long passing is outrageous. Look at this pinpoint on the nozzle, gets the assist over the top balls. Are Scholes-esque, are Bergkamp-esque, maybe not that quality, but look at this vision. And it does really remind her of like a shorter young Pogba when he was just bursting onto the scene at Juventus. I do not know why. I've been reading up on Ajax, why he doesn't play as much. Apparently the current boss there, the coach, doesn't really like to play him on much, and it is a travesty, because look at how dangerous, look at how dynamic this young boy can be, and under Hikari Mugen's rule at Ajax, that just will not stand. This boy is going to get the play time. He only has the long shot taker trait to lead off, but I think if we go ahead and train him up, he can really be the Dutch Pogba. Maybe even better, depending on how Pogba actually turns out, but he's tremendous. Bazoer, you're going to go ahead, get the training treatment in this episode. We're going to give him the red gloves, the red boots, kind of keep him distinct on that pitch. And we're going to train up Dolberg a little bit because he got to get his finishing up. And also in the last episode, I asked, what do we do about El Ghazi? And it was split right down the middle. Less than 10 votes out of 200 basically said it was pretty much 50-50, a little bit more onto Salim. And it was an incredibly tough decision. And I apologize. I really do apologize to all you guys who are El Ghazi fans. And, I heard that pretty much they're over it. But I think we're going to move on because I think the trajectory for his arc is that he is going to leave. Now, another thing you guys are saying that Eunice isn't all that great. You guys have a love-hate relationship, so I thought, why not go ahead and put him on loan and move El Ghazi on and bring in a guy that has been linked with Ajax in this past window, and that is Leon Bailey, the Jamaican wonderkid himself. I'm doing a little bit of scouting on him the same way that I've scouted Dolberg, the same way that I've scouted Bazoer. This he's Jamaican. So you know, he comes from the land of Usain Bolt. He's going to be absolutely blazing. He's got great technical skills, good, you know, decent enough strength and stamina. Well, actually not the best strength, but he's got good technical abilities. He's a really fine young winger prospect, and I think he does really fit the type of player that, you know, Ajax would go ahead and bring in. So we're going to try to do a deal. El Ghazi, I think eventually his arc is that he's going to be leaving. If not in January, I think he'll probably be leaving. You know, this is just me surmising, but it looks like he looks like a player that will move on in the next year or so. So why not build toward a future of a player that might want to stay with us more than a player that wants to move on? So we're going to buoy it, Leon Bailey, and some odd cash. Well, we're going to do it with, we're going to put El Ghazi into the deal and give them $5 million to see if we can get on Leon Bailey. As you can see, Ghent, I believe is what they're called, Ghent or Genk. They have agreed, so now we have to agree to personal terms, and we're on the transfer deadline day. There you go, ladies and gentlemen, contract offer accepted. He drove a hard bargain. He actually wanted 20 in the wages, but it is El Ghazi and $5 million going the other direction, which means we're gonna have to earn back a lot of money to pay for Bertrand Traore in the final window. But this is what we get right here: 93 pace, freaking 71 stamina, good shot power. Gotta get his finishing up, but crossing, ball control, you know, short passing even is pretty tremendous. Great volleys. He is extremely well-rounded. Not quite there, but good potential. 4-star weak foot, 4-star skill moves. And he can absolutely blast him from distance as well. He's got a myriad of traits, as you can see in a little bit. 5'11", so he's not actually the shortest kid either. And he's got a foot on him, man. Flair, long shot taker, trait, speedster, and acrobat. I apologize once again to all you El Ghazi fans, but I feel in my heart of hearts that this was the right decision to make. And now our future scout has returned. Please be someone good. And this is the boy that we get. The next great Ajax star at Toekomst. Rossi, a Brazilian right mid with a potential of 83 to 94. His value right out of the gate is already 600,000. If you guys haven't checked it out, go ahead, look at freaking Bama Striker. He did a video on this saying that, like, that's the bigger factor, is when you look at it, if their starting value is like above 200, that's when you know you got a bright star on your hands. And his value is freaking at 675. That is insane. The only bad thing about it is he's 15, so we can't get him in the squad for probably another season or so. But I'm absolutely drooling. 83 to 94. That might be the best scout future star ever, and it was just perfect that I got it for Ajax. A team right now, so we're going to keep him in the Toekomst. We're going to keep him in there, train him up, and we're going to have maybe the next Neymar, the right mid Neymar on our hands here at Ajax. Getting. And now it is the debut of Leon Bailey. Can he keep up the proud tradition? Well, it's a crazy tradition apparently at Ajax. I found this out recently that over 50 players have scored on their debut for Ajax. So can Bailey join that illustrious club? Can he do it? I think De Donker was the only one to do it. I think Adam Milson came in, but he wasn't able to get it on. Loppin didn't get any. But so far as our CDM has continued on, and we're going up against the fiercest rivalry. This is the fiercest rivalry. It's not against PSV, it's against Feyenoord. And this one is the must-win. This is the derby of all derbies. There is literal blood on the hands of both of these fans when it comes to this fixture. And early on, 5 minutes in, that was pretty good. That was pretty easy. Wasn't it supposed to be fierce? Wasn't it supposed to be, you know, like, cagey? And we absolutely tear them apart. A lot of you guys, I've been hearing you. A lot of you peers are saying, play 4-3-3, play 4-3-3. 3-4-3 3-4-3. Whoop that ass. Alright, I'm having a lot of fun playing 3-4-3. And we had a vote earlier in the season. You guys wanted me to play 3-4-3. Classic total football, you know, in the classic Dutch style. And it's been absolutely tremendous. We are tearing teams apart. Now Casper Dolberg getting in on Mr. Dole Whip himself going through the boards because he is a friendly ghost. Yes, he is. I don't know if Europeans will get that Casper reference, or if anyone over the age of 18 will actually get that reference. I'm an old man. And that is an old tiny man finish right there from the man, the myth, the ghost, Casper Dolberg. With his new blue boots on, if you hadn't noticed, I put on new boots on him because he had the Nike ones that apparently one of you guys in the comment down below brought it to my attention that he is sponsored by Masia and Adidas, so we changed up his boots. Thank you for all the tips, and bring all the tips, guys, for all you guys. I know my pronunciation isn't on top games yet, so keep it coming, keep me knowing, you know, what is good, keep me updated on what is happening in the Eredivise and with Ajax. And now, this was a torrid time right here, back and forth, and now we actually catch it, and we get our first chance to really look at what Leon Bailey can do. And this is him in his element, absolutely pushing the pace, 93 of it, bringing it to you hard, long, fast, cuts inside, showing it through all the defenders, and that is why we have to train up his finishing, 63 finishing there. Everything else was magnificent, but yeah, and then, you know, I get it for you guys who are shouting 4-3-3. The defense isn't the greatest, okay? We're gonna give up some goals this year, I admit that. But with this formation, just things. 3-4-3 things, man. Look at that. Tremendous timing. And Ziyech goes ahead and gets himself, I believe, like his 4th goal of the season. The new signing of the season for Ajax times it absolute to perfection. What an absolute peach of a goal. And with that, up 3-0. You guys can't be arguing, man. Up 3-0 to our biggest rivals. We have the luxury to bring in like Van der Beek, to bring in Nori, just to go ahead and get them a little bit of play time. We breathe in the park up against Feyenoord, and I'm gonna switch it up. Here, I'll put another vote up for you guys who want me to play 4-3-3 versus 3-4-3. I'll put up the vote right here. If it reverses, I'll go back to 4-3-3. But as I was saying in the press conference, man, a lot of great teams these days, all the best teams it seems like, play 4-3-3. And the issue with that is when you're playing 4-3-3 versus 4-3-3, it's the superior talent that usually wins out. I'm trying to be tactical here as Hikari Mugen. I'm trying to bring it differently. What's great about the 3-4-3 is it's basically somewhat of a modified or a more attacking 3-5-2, which is the counter tactically up against a 4-3-3. Now what I'm going to do right here, I'm playing a 4-3-3 up against Dortmund. Maybe not the best idea. You know what I'm saying? Playing up the Gegenpress with Thomas Tuchel. And I'm starting a lot of the second teamers in here. Our back line should be okay. You know, it's Tete, it's Vierhaver, it's Veltman. But in the midfield and up front, it's all newbies. You know, it's Isak, it's Cherney, it's Van der Beek or Van der Beek. Still working on that one. And of course for Dortmund, it's a who's who of awesomeness. You know, Royce, freaking Aubameyang, and all that goody goodness. This is going to be tough. This one is going to be tough. You might be asking, why are you doing this? Well, in 2 days' time, we have another match in the Eredivise, and I'm going to be honest, this wasn't my top priority up against Royce. And secondly, I made a mistake. I shouldn't be playing in the Champions League if you hadn't noticed. They did qualify, I think, for Champions League. I believe they qualified for Champions League, the playoff system, and they didn't qualify. So they are in Europa. So I thought, all right, for Champions League this season, I'm just gonna start most of my youngsters, just as a punishment. And if I can get through it on that, then I've earned it. Essentially, this is my qualification process. Is I'm starting mostly youngsters in the second team up against some of the best teams in Europe. And if I can manage that, then I feel like it's gonna be even Stevens, but it ain't so. Well, it is so. It's even Stevens 0-0 right now, and we actually had the best chance, except Lawton just absolutely pinged it off of the crossbar at 1,000,000 miles per hour. And in the second half, right at the start, it wasn't that fun, man. I felt with our legs fading and with them bringing in Shinji Kagawa, we had to try to make a couple more. They were stretching us even further, and we give up a goal to Schmelzer. Ugh, I'm just too tired. I was like, I feel tired from my defense. Look at this. Veltman slides over, gets absolutely grass. And a cheeky stop and start from Marcel Schmelzer gets himself a goal from a defender. And from that point on, Dortmund smelled blood in the water. Aubameyang going for the audacious, bicycle kick. Shinji Kagawa, the substitute at halftime, puts on a freaking show. Stop, starts, gets a little bit of space. A beautiful finesse into top bins. And we are absolutely shattered by the Japanese international. Look at this. And I'm playing 4 in the back, guys. I know this isn't our top team, though, so that is a bit of an excuse. But at that point, I tried to bring some new boys. Sinkgraven, Delict. And it wasn't really helping. Aubameyang turns me. I get turned the wrong way. Onana was putting up a big foot, tries to slap it away. Gets back. A double save. A triple save from Onana. So one bright spot was our keeper with a ridiculous triple save. But then Royce does Royce things, cuts inside. Weigl, unselfish. Back to Royce. And at that range, the German is lethal. In the 90th minute, we give up our third goal. It has been an absolute tool shed beating from the boys of Germany, and that's to be expected. I apologize to everyone that had to witness that ass whooping. We got destroyed by a better team. We've beaten the likes of PSV, we've beaten the likes of Feyenoord. We're big, we're big fish, right? We're big fishing right now in the Eredivise. But when it comes to, like Dortmund's one of the top teams, like top 5 teams in the world right now, we got a long way to go. It was an eye-opener. Like, we got a lot of potential on our team. Dortmund is a team that has reached its potential. But luckily, we got reinforcements on the way. We are filling out the Toekomst. I'm trying right here. With our scout feature stars. Well, not scout. Well, potentially scout feature stars. As you can see here, we're looking through 71 to 94 potential, 86, and I'll peek that. And 71 to 94, probably going to go ahead and bring him in. Go ahead and sign him up. We got a pretty decent crop from Japan, but now let's go ahead and switch it over. Probably going to let these other two simmer for a bit. And our second monthly scouting report is from the Netherlands, and this is what I want. I want some good young Dutch players. 81, and not all that good enough. We're going to leave 86, 73, 94. That is what I'm talking about right here. Go ahead and sign him up. 72, probably going to reject that player. 70 to 94 for Graf over here. Definitely signing him up. 74, not all that good. And 66, we're getting rid of the shittier Graf. These other two we'll hold on to, but pretty good pull from Japan and the Netherlands as we get into our final match of this episode up against the Go Ahead Eagles. An incredible name for a football club. Hikari Mugen watches over his club. Most of the first teamers, Tim Krul being replaced in the starting lineup this time by Onana. And a couple of rotation players. Veltman getting in ahead, I believe, of Kenny Tete, Sanchez and Ridderwald in as well. And it's most of the big names getting in here, but can it make a difference? I believe Go Ahead isn't one of the top tier teams, so I thought it was going to be a breeze, but early on it was all Go Ahead. The Eagles were flying high, if you will, trying to go ahead, pierce us, dropping in from below, dropping in on their talons, trying to sting deep, but they kept on missing us. We were dipping and dodging, and we started to work our way into the game after a little bit of shock, getting a decent shot through Bertrand Traore over there, but it would go 0-0 into the first half. What else is new? If you watch most of my career modes, I'm not much of a first half team. I'm all about that second half, ladies and gents. Now Ziyech linking up with Bailey, the new signing. Can he put it into the middle on a plate? Just dropping dimes. Dolberg scoring one of the easiest goals that he is ever going to get right here. Look at this. Great work. Adam Milson linking up. Great strength from Bailey. He shoves the defender to the ground. Simple one-tap finishes from Dolberg, who has 5 goals this early in the Eredivise season. He has to be leading it right here. Now Adam Milson streaking in 4-3-3. We switch back to a 3-4-3 in this one, and as you can see, we're opening them up, but we are susceptible to the counter. Look at this. Huge gaps happening. If I can somehow find a way to stabilize our back line, I think we could have something tremendous. Now Ziyech stepping up, pinging it, not too far off. It's kind of learning his new setup. When you do the 90 degrees, I'm not used to that type of kicker, so it's gonna be a little bit of a learning curve, but I felt like it wasn't too all that far off. Now they go ahead, get a corner, but we win it away, and then the counter is on. There we go. Václav's Cherney into the middle, gets it over to Nori, one-on-one with the keeper. Calm, cool, collected, goes ahead, slots it, finesse into the side. Woo! Go ahead and slap that home. You slap that flag as much as you want, Mr. Nori-san. And good, clean, effective counterattack finishing from the Ajax lads himself. 2 of the brightest youngsters on the Ajax squad, Nori and Cherney, linking up for a delectable lightning quick counter. And I think this time is as good as any. What is the next player that you would like to profile? Go ahead and vote right here. Maybe one of the guys who just linked up right there. What do you consider there? And Onana has been impressing, man. I mean, he let in 3 goals up against, you know, what are you going to do? What are you going to do against Dortmund? They're one of the best attacking teams in the world. But showing his stuff in the Eredivise, man. And remember, a lot of it, he's got high potential, and he's already putting in some great saves. Got to work on his handling, though. He's great at pairing shots. Not so great at the catching end. But I'm not going to argue all too much with that. He kept a clean sheet. That's all that matters. Klaassen goes ahead, cleans it up, and we are done. Good day's work from the men of Amsterdam. And Ziyech, look at him, that handsome haircut, and the devastation of the go-ahead Eagles. No, you shall not go ahead. You will go down. And Nori, 1 shot, 1 goal. I believe that opens up his account for the season. I know a lot of you Ajax fans really love the kid and must have been delighted to see him get off of his duck on the season. But that is it from me, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, go ahead and leave a like. If you have not caught up on this series, I must ask you to go ahead, get on that last episode. It's a goodie. Go ahead and check that out right here. If you haven't checked out the Manchester United Career Mode, go ahead and check the latest episode where we bring in Antoine Griezmann. And yeah, that's pretty much it from me. Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Remember to stay yourself, stay humble, and be weird.